Hey guys, welcome back to the SammyT show. This is going to be my spoiler review of Star Wars The Last Jedi. The most controversial Star Wars film yet, or at least that's what I'm thinking. It is being talked about all over. Good, bad, fans are freaking out, it's crazy. So I just want to talk about the things that I liked about this movie, the things that I didn't like about this movie, and lastly, the fan outrage. They're just going nuts, and I am a huge fan myself, and I don't understand at all. So here we go. If you don't like spoilers and you haven't seen the film, go see the film, come back, watch my video, give me a like and subscribe. That'd be awesome. Let's go ahead and dive on in. The Force Awakens ends with a cliffhanger. Rey finds Luke on Acto, and she's basically like, Luke Skywalker, here's your lightsaber. But she doesn't really say anything, so she's just like this, and the music's like, all like that. So that's what happens at the end of The Force Awakens. So when this movie starts off and she's just, handing the lightsaber to him, you're waiting for this big reaction from Luke, like, this is my father's lightsaber, it was mine. He cut my hand off when we were fighting with it. I was expecting him to kind of look at it, ask her who she was instantly. I had a feeling the way the scene was leading that he was going to toss it, and sure enough, he does. He tosses it like, kind of like a, it's funny, knee slapper. Personally, I will say it threw me off, and at first I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Based off the cliffhanger, you're going to have him toss it? I saw it twice, and this is a broken Luke. He is done. He hid away. He even said it. I'm paraphrasing here, but he says something like, do you really think I would hide myself on this island just to be found, and I just want to go hop back into the fight with my laser sword? Like, I get it. He saw it and he was like, man, you know what? Dad did cut off my hand with this. It reminds me of a grounding, kind of. I would have maybe appreciated, maybe he looked at it and he was kind of like nostalgic over it for a second and then like shoved it back in her face, or just like maybe he could have like aggressively tossed it. Not so like, meh. But, that's Disney. Another one of the big issues this film is getting is the Canto Bight scene, and that's a casino planet scene, and it's basically showing how First Order are making money. People, good and bad, are making money off of this war, and it's kind of shitty, and it's about animal cruelty. It's just layered in there. It's not like it's in there the whole movie. I think the Rose and Finn subplot's about 30 minutes. Honestly, it didn't bother me. I like Finn, so I'm biased. I might have cut 15 minutes of it, maybe 10, make it a little bit faster, just because I would have liked to see more Rey and Luke. I mean, that's just where the movie was at for me, Rey, Luke, or even Kylo and Snoke. The second time, I was like, this is not nearly as bad as people are saying. It's not nearly as long. It's not really taking me out of the movie. Empire Strikes Back, Luke, Leia, and Han were all separated. It's kind of like that again. Would I like to see more Luke and Rey? Yes, we didn't get it. I moved on. Easy. Let's talk about Kylo Ren in this one. Adam Driver does such a good job as Kylo Ren. He really reminds me of how Anakin, should have been maybe in the prequels. I like Hayden Christensen. Bring it on. But I'm just saying, I just love Kylo Ren. Shit. You're not Kylo Ren, are you? Anyway, I just really like Kylo Ren as a character. Maybe I just like his lightsaber. I just think he's really cool. Early on in the film, like Rey and Kylo Ren start to have this Force connection. I immediately turned over to my fiance and I was like, okay, so they're brother and sister, or they're cousins or something. There's no way they're having this Force connection. I thought it was like a callback to Luke and Leia and their Force connection because they were siblings. I thought we were just getting a different kind of perspective or look at it. We find out later that it was actually Snoke bridging their minds or whatever. But something happens later. It still happens at the end of the movie, so I'm kind of like, are they related still? Was he lying? Kylo Ren basically tells her that she's nobody. She kind of comes to that conclusion first. He says, say it, say it. You know who you are, say it. And then she's like, I'm nobody. Because that's her fear. That's her fear of being nobody. And so, of course, he leads with it like, yeah, you're nobody, but not to me. I got you. This conversation happens after Snoke gets killed. Yeah, Snoke gets killed in this movie by Kylo Ren. It was a really intense moment. I was not expecting it. Of course, when the lightsaber was turning towards Snoke, and Kylo was turning his saber at the same time. Super cool. Snoke was just too, I know what's in his mind. He can't do anything. I control him. I control his life. And it was just like, do you really? So when he died, I was like, ooh! I thought he was supposed to be this big baddie based on The Force Awakens and based on this movie, and then all of a sudden he's just dead. Boop, gone. That really bothered a lot of people. Not me. Not me at all. If you wanted the Emperor Palpatine Darth Vader thing, go watch the original trilogy. We got that. We got it there, we got it there, and we got it there. Just saying, if you were that desperate for it again, go watch those movies. This was something new. It was different. Snoke was just too all up in his head, thinking he's higher up, no one's going to betray me, no one's going to defeat me, and then Kylo Ren's like, I'm stronger than you probably anyway, you've just been holding me back. I really like that, which led to a really cool Rey and Kylo Ren combo fight scene. They're fighting like all of Snoke's guards. Super, super well executed. Very samurai-ish. I feel like Rian Johnson watched a lot of samurai films before doing this one. The choreography was amazing. It was just really cool to see Kylo Ren and Rey working together. And of course, naturally, when it's all over and she walks towards the video thing that she's looking at, showing the fleet being destroyed, and he's just standing still, I was like, oh shit. I was going through what Rey was going through. She says something like, Ben, don't do this, and she starts to tear up, and I was like, no! I'm on her side, come on! He has a little tantrum. He's like, no, you're still in the past, and they end up breaking Anakin's lightsaber, and I was like, oh, come on, are you kidding me? And like, what happened in between was really cool. Like, General Haldo was in a rebel ship while the other rebels were fleeing away, and she ended up going into hyperspace into the ship, and it split it in half, it cut, everyone in the theater was silent. It was really cool sequence, but I was like, come on, the lightsaber's broken. I don't know if they're going to fix it or what. I still want to find out how we got it. I still think episode 9 is going to clear up all the answers that we have in this movie, especially from episode 7 that this movie didn't answer. People are freaking out because we didn't get the answers we were looking for, but it's not over. There's still a whole other movie coming out, and it's being directed by J.J. Abrams, who did The Force Awakens. People are freaking out for no reason, to me. Surely I would have liked Rey to be a Skywalker. I'm almost certain she still is, though. Kylo Ren lied to her, I feel. Or he feels like what he was telling her was the truth, but they also both saw each other turning into the light side and the dark side. Rey saw Kylo going light, Kylo saw Rey going dark. That didn't happen in this movie, though. They stayed their course. And then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I saw your parents, you know who they were. They're nobody, you're nobody, but not to me. I'm like, you're just trying to get her on your side, bro. That's just me wanting her to be a Skywalker or a Solo. We didn't know anything about Emperor Palpatine in the original trilogy. We got 3 movies, the prequels, to explain his backstory, basically. No one was upset then. They're upset now because you don't know what you want. But first, you're going to tell me that The Force Awakens was too much like A New Hope. It was too similar, you didn't stray for anything different, you played it safe. So then, when they don't play it safe in the sequel, they do things that people weren't expecting at all. I loved the movie. I don't get the hate for it. I feel like people are literally splitting hairs. They're complaining about the porgs, like, because they were merchandised everywhere. They're cute. They got kids' attention. They're in the background of The Last Jedi. They're not a plot device. They're just there. I don't know why. It's not a big deal to me. Oh. Something really cool happened. Leia gets shot out of her command center, and it's really intense. When I was first watching it, I was like, oh my god, like, they're gonna kill her this way? Because it was so, like, you see the missiles coming in, and it goes boom, in slow motion, and then sucks them all out really violently. Oh my gosh, that's how Leia's gonna go? Like, and the way they showed it, I genuinely felt like that was her end. And then it shows her kind of twitching in space, and people are freaking out because she used the Force. A Jedi instinct to save oneself if one can. Granted, it looked a little funny at first, but how is somebody pulling themselves back onto a ship in space, partially frozen, with the Force, supposed to look? If you can show me a better way it's supposed to look, then... But right now, the way it looked is how it would have looked if said person was doing said thing. And also, did people forget who she comes from? Did people forget that her father was Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, her brother is Luke Skywalker? Did we forget that? That she has the powers that Luke and Darth have, she just chooses not to use them? It manifested in her. She wasn't done fighting. That's how I saw it. I thought it was beautiful. My friend did say she looks like a chicken nugget frozen in space, and I thought that was hilarious. But Benicio del Toro played a small part. He played like a code breaker. The Finn and Rose are supposed to get a code breaker, and then they get thrown in jail for parking, which is a little silly. And he ends up betraying them, and I think his name is DJ, which means like don't join. I liked it and I didn't because, you know, he got a lot of resistance fighters killed when he betrays Finn and Rose to Phasma and all them. But I just liked the fact that he's just like, he's in the middle. Like, I'm not on your side, I'm not on their side. I'm just me. I will admit I was very let down with Phasma, Captain Phasma. I feel like she had more screen time in The Force Awakens. I genuinely do. And they built up this fight scene between Phasma and Finn in the trailer. You see him with his baton getting at her like this. While the fight scene was cool, it was like a minute long. It might have been even 30 seconds long. It was really short, but while it was happening, it was cool. Finn dodged something. He's stepping back, and Captain Phasma was stepping towards him, and he's like, come on! I was like, yeah! They supposedly kill her off. He gets knocked down like this shaft, and then he's like getting lifted up, and he's like, hey! Boom! And then like she gets like, you see her eye, and she says, oh, you've always been scum. And he's like, yeah, rebel scum. And then she falls down into the fire. I don't think she's dead. Like, if she's dead, that's cool and all, whatever. They were trying to make her the Boba Fett of this universe, and she just isn't so far. And I don't know if she can be, even if she had a bigger part in Episode 9. But we'll see. But I don't think she's dead because her suit was like blaster repellent. Like, you know, like Rose went to shoot her and it was just like, ding! So I just have to imagine that it has to be immune to some sort of like fire, some sort of falling. I don't know. She might be dead. I don't think so. I think we're gonna see her again. Let's talk about the flashbacks. There was 3 flashbacks. The first flashback, Luke is basically telling Rey, yeah, I went into his camp just to talk to him and he just collapsed the house on me. And I was like, I don't know, man. And then you see Ren's perspective, and it's just like he wakes up and he's like, and then like Luke is like all crazy looking, like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you. And then, you know, he reaches for a lightsaber. I think it's Anakin's lightsaber. I really don't know. But he reaches for a lightsaber and they clash, and then the house comes down. So then we finally figure out that it happened very much in the middle, like both perspectives. Luke did go in there, and he was like reading his mind in his sleep, and he just felt this hate that he had to have been remembering how Darth Vader was, and it scared the hell out of him. This is a man who found out that his father not only brought down the Jedi, brought down the Republic, like he found out his dad was just the baddest of the bad, and it scared him to know that his nephew could do the same, if not more damage. So he turned on his lightsaber for a second. It was like, you know, it was a second. He said it was a reflex. Like, it was a reflex to that energy, to that anger, to that hate. It doesn't mean he was gonna do it. He instantly regretted it. And it was too late. Ben was already awake. They clashed. He was like, Ben, no! And then the house collapsed. It was a moment, people. It was a second. He could have just been sensing it and just scared him, turned it on real quick, and then he was like, what am I doing? And then when he goes to look at Ben, Ben's already awake, and it was done. Ben was already gone. Ben had to have been gone to have turned so quickly to kill his students, to take some of them, because he does say that he doesn't kill them all. He takes some of them, but he slaughtered the rest. I'm thinking that's the Knights of Ren, so the Knights of Ren are probably Force sensitive. I'm just saying it was a moment, but the fact that Ben turned so quickly based on that reaction, based on what happened right there, no. He must have obviously been talking to Snoke already. He was already bad, which I still support Luke's decision. Or it wasn't even his decision. It was just an instinct to pull out the lightsaber based on the anger and the dark side that he was sensing. So I will say, if I had to complain, and I even said it to my sister, I said it to my fiance, after the movie, I was like, there was one disappointment, and you guys are going to think I'm really silly. And they were like, well, what is it? And I was just like, there was no lightsaber fight. Every single numbered Star Wars film has had a lightsaber fight. I mean, even Rogue One had the Darth Vader lightsaber scene. And I'm not saying that the Kylo Ren and Rey fight scene combo thing was not cool. I don't count that as a lightsaber fight. Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron was really badass again. Like, they showcase his flying skills again. The flying scenes in this movie were incredibly beautiful to watch. And just watching him like tear up that dreadnought at the beginning, and like you can see Hux like, he's crazy. He's not gonna go for the dreadnought, and then you look over and it's like boom. Boom, explosion. Hux visibly is like, There's a lot of hate going around about why didn't General Holdo, played by that lady that played in Jurassic Park, I forget her name. Basically, General Holdo doesn't tell Poe that this whole time they're basically, it's like a space chase. This whole movie is basically a space chase when it comes to Poe and all that. And Poe is like, so are we just gonna keep doing this until we die? And then Holdo is like, oh, so you're the hotshot that got most of the bomb squad killed and a lot of our resistance fighters killed when you just couldn't let the dreadnought go, you just had to take it down. You're that guy, right? And then she demoted you? Oh, and now you're demanding an answer out of me to tell you like what my plan is? No, I don't know. It didn't bother me. It could have been poor writing. I just feel like they were both having like no, I'm the boss, I'm in charge, well, I know what I'm doing and you don't. It was kind of like they were having a pissing contest with each other. In the end, I think he just needed to humble up a little bit. He was all about going to just go in and blow some shit up. Like that's where he was at. Whereas Leia and Holdo were just like, take a step back. Like, it's not just about instant action. Like, we have a plan. He does this mutiny. I mean, even Leia, when she wakes up, is like, Poe. She just looks at him. He's like, Leia! And she shoots him, like she stuns him. It was kind of like a callback to A New Hope. Then they get down to the planet called Crate, which people are also giving it crap. This movie was already vastly different than any of the Star Wars movies that we've watched before. But of course, people can't help but comment on the fact that Crate looks like a snow planet. It's not, it's salt. but it looks like a snow planet. There's huge AT-ATs coming towards speeders. It's still different, even though it was similar. I actually thought it was really cool, that sequence. At this point on Crate, Kylo Ren is the new Supreme Leader. After Kylo Ren kills Snoke and Rey and Kylo Ren have that combo fight, Rey leaves after they break the lightsaber. Kylo Ren tells Hux that Rey killed Snoke. Kylo Ren gives Hux a command and he's like, "Who are you to tell me our Supreme Leader is dead?" And then you see him like I think the Darth Vader music plays and you see Kylo Ren like, "The Supreme Leader isn't dead." And I was like, okay. Luke ends up showing up and it was really cool because he finally had a moment with Leia. She's like, "Oh, I know what you're gonna say. My hair looks different." And he's like, "It looks good that way." Like, I just really liked it. It was a really beautiful moment to me. When Luke steps out to face the AT-ATs and Kylo Ren's ship, he just stands there and then Kylo Ren's like, "Fire everything!" They're like blasting him and blasting him and blasting him with these AT-AT fire, and he's like, "More!" And then Hux is like, "Stop, stop." Looks at him, "Do you think you got him?" And then he's actually still there. So then he immediately goes down there to confront his uncle. This is where I thought we were going to get an amazing lightsaber fight. I really did. Kylo Ren does this crazy stance. He's like pointing at him and turning his lightsaber. It was a really intense moment. And Luke kind of keeps dodging. And something I didn't notice the first time is they make a point to show that when people step down on the surface of Crate, that the salt shows like there's red footprints. And I didn't notice this the first time, but if you watch Luke, he doesn't have any footprints. If you're looking at Ren, he does have footprints. Something else that also threw me off instantly, Anakin's lightsaber is broken. Kylo Ren and Rey literally just broke it 5 minutes before this scene. All of a sudden Luke is wearing it again on his belt. So did they have a fake lightsaber? Was that not really Anakin's lightsaber? Did Luke have it all along? Then you find out because Kylo Ren slashes through Luke and he turns around and Luke's still there. He even says to him, "Strike me down in anger. I'll be here to haunt you just like your father." So he walks up to him and stabs him just to see, and Luke isn't there. And then you see Luke is hovering on Ahch-To, and he's like using the Force to project himself across the galaxy and be there. Then after that, he says, "See you around, kid." And then he disappears, and then Luke dies, and it was really sad, and people didn't like that. I thought it was really cool because when he's looking up at the Ahch-To sun, there's just one sun, but then all of a sudden he's kind of turning, and it's two suns, and the music is swelling in the background, and it's very reminiscent of Tatooine. It's a throwback to where it all started for Luke. And then he fades into the Force. People are wondering how he died. Kylo Ren said to Rey when they first did their Force connection, "How are you doing this?" And he's like, "No, you can't be doing this. The effort would kill you," basically. And it did kill Luke. He was still strong with the Force, and it still killed him. It was a big effort for him to do that. Him being there to help the rebels escape, it helped Poe understand that you don't always need to fight. He even said, like, "Luke is stalling so we can leave," and then they do. Luke says to Ren, it was a really cool moment, he's like, "The war isn't over, it has only begun," or something like that. And then he says, "And I am not the last Jedi." And you see Rey in the next scene, like, and she's like closing her eyes and she's moving the rocks so the Resistance can escape. There was a cool little cameo. I guess it's not really a cameo, but Yoda was in the movie. Force Ghost Puppet Yoda was in the movie, and he talked to Luke about, "Oh, you're always looking at the horizon. You're never looking at where you are." I just thought it was a really cool moment. I just thought it would have been really cool to have seen Anakin's Force Ghost, some father-son time kind of deal. Maybe Luke could have told Rey, if she didn't know, that Darth Vader was his father. When she went down in the hole and she saw the mirror, basically to ask who her parents were, it would have been really cool if Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost showed up like, "Rey?" And then she would have been like, "Well, who are you?" And he would have been like, "I'm Anakin Skywalker." And she'd be like, "You're Darth Vader." And he could have been like, "I was." Because they have concept art of his Force Ghost from The Force Awakens, and it was going to be like a half Anakin, like half Darth Vader. Like, he had a problem being just Anakin because he was Darth Vader for so long. I thought that concept was really cool, and I would have liked to have seen that. But we got Yoda, so that was really cool. In the end of the movie, you see a kid from Canto Bight that Finn and Rose ran into. You see him kind of turn the ring that Rose must have given him. It was a resistance ring. And he goes to grab a broom, and before he actually touches it, the broom just comes to him. He used the Force. He might have used it on purpose. It might have just been instinct, but he did it. And then he looked at the stars, and then he holds the broom even like a lightsaber, and it just shows that new generations of Jedi will always be around. I don't know if he'll be a main character of like the trilogy that Rian Johnson is doing after this one. But that would be cool just to kind of tie them in, like, yeah, Finn ran into me when I was a kid and blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure where he's going to go with that. I just thought that was really cool that they'll always be around. I thought that was a really powerful moment. I mean, basically, I can't say it any more than I already have, that I just love this movie. I understand that fans are upset. I don't understand as to why they're so upset. You can't give everybody what they want, and that's okay. I enjoyed it for what it was, and I know a lot of people did. I'm just hoping that episode 9 clears up the answers that we're all looking for, and then it'll come full circle. As I keep saying, like, watch episode 9, complete everything 7 and 8 has set up, and then it's just like, after you watch them all together, you'd be like, oh my god, these were good movies. These were good movies. I just didn't know that they were going to answer it in the next movie. I probably shouldn't have freaked out and started a petition. In conclusion, you love this movie, you hate this movie. Star Wars is going to be around for a while. It's doing very well in the box office. Got Solo coming out next year. We got a whole other trilogy coming out, and I'm sure we'll get a lot of spin-offs in between all that. So it'll be around. I hate that a lot of people didn't understand or didn't care to understand or just didn't want to understand the things that they were going for in this movie. I genuinely loved it. I think it was even better upon the second viewing. Anyway, guys, thank you again for watching the SammyT show. So don't forget to like and subscribe, please. And that was legit.